Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this month's Hangout here for Business Training Made Simple. For those of you who haven't joined us before, I'll just introduce myself. My name's Sarah Kerrigan. I'm the Social Media Manager here at Made Simple Group. And today I'll be taking the Hangout on how to create an engaged following on Google+. So I'm just going to change over to the slides now. Okay, so here at Business Training Made Simple, we run a monthly hangout on different topics every month. And as I just said, this month we're looking at Google+. So today I'm going to be going through 4 strategies, really easy to implement, helpful strategies on how to create an engaged following on Google+. Let's be honest, the biggest reason that brands are on Google is for SEO reasons, to get their content higher up in Google search results. So what I'm going to be looking at, the 4 strategies that I'm going to be looking at are going to be concentrated on getting engaged following, because the more people who engage with your content, the more likely Google are going to show that higher up in their search results. Google will look at that content and see, oh look, this has got so many +1s, this has been shared so many times, people must like it, it must be popular content, so we're going to push that in the search results. So that's why we're looking at these strategies today. So I'm going to be going through what are circles and the logistics of circles. Circles are really important. A lot of people, from the feedback that we get from a lot of our course attendees, get quite confused about circles and the logistics behind them. But really, once you've got your head around them, they're pretty simple. But I'm going to go through them because a lot of the strategies still will be going back to circles. So really, you need to have an understanding of exactly what circles are and what they can do. Now I'm going to be talking about ripples. I don't know if you've heard of ripples before, but it's a great way to see who is sharing content out there, great way of seeing who is already active on Google+ and what content they're sharing. Now we're going to look at communities. Communities are another area on Google+ where you can find highly engaged, active Google+ members. And then we're going to be looking at shared circles. Shared circles are a very quick and easy way of quickly building up your Google+ followers with active Google+ members. Okay, so first off, what are circles? A circle is a group of people you are following. You can have as many circles as you want, and circles are similar to Twitter lists, a way of organising the people you follow. So you can see there, that's what your circles will look like on Google+, and you can call them anything you want. So you can have as many circles as you want and call them anything you want. So you can give your circles different names, so you're in control of what your circles are called. People will not know what circle you have put them in. This is private, so you don't have to worry about what you call your circles. No one else will know this. So you might have, you can see there, social media circle, events professor circle, work colleagues, you might have family members, brands that I love, brands that I aspire to be like. But no one will actually see what circle you've put them in. All they'll know is, they will be notified that you've put them in a circle, but all they'll know is that you've added them to one of your circles. So you don't need to worry about what you call your circles. And if you want, you can put the same people in multiple circles. So if one person is relevant to two different categories, you can put them in both circles. That's fine, not a problem. Okay, so understanding circles. So if someone is in one of your circles, you will see their content in your newsfeed. So that's quite straightforward, the same as Twitter. If you're following someone on Twitter, you will see their content in your Twitter feed. So if someone is in your circles, but you are not in their circles, they will not see your content in their newsfeed. So again, same as Twitter. Just because you're following someone doesn't mean they'll see your content. They've got to follow you back to see your content. However, this is when it gets a little bit tricky, but what is actually really very useful is that you can choose to share a piece of content directly with a circle, and they will get a notification. So you can put people in your circle. So say I'm going to form a circle of accountants. They're one of my target markets, so I'm going to form a circle of accountants. even if those accountants don't follow you back, you can choose to share a piece of content directly with that circle of accountants. And even the ones who aren't following you will get a little notification saying, Business Training Made Simple has shared this article with you, or this blog post with you. So that's really great. So your content won't show up in their newsfeed, but they will be informed that you've shared it with them. So it's really useful if you're creating content that's highly targeted, and you can share that with all your different circles. And I'll show you again on the platform what I mean by this in a minute. So you can choose to share different pieces of content with different circles, like I said, and public content will be displayed on your profile as well as showing up in mini feeds of people circling you. So, public content, if you share a piece of content publicly, then that's going to show up on your profile, and that's going to show up on the mini feeds of the people following you. But if you share your content directly with a circle, that's not going to show up on your profile to the public. It'll just show up on the mini feeds of the people in that circle following you, and then the people who aren't following you will get a notification. So I'm going to show you what I mean now. So if we go to Google+, okay, so say you're going to share, so sorry, first of all your circles you'll see under the People tab here. So you can click People, and this is where you'll see all your circles here. You can click on them, open them up, and that'll open up your circles. So ideally you want to be breaking down all your followers into lots of different circles, so you know what industry they're in and things like that. Okay, so when you're going to share a piece of content, so you might, for instance, have created a blog post for accountants. So, for instance, we might have created the blog post, 5 best social media practices or tips for accountants. But great, we're going to share that with our accountant circle, because that's not relevant to any of our followers. They're not interested in tips for accountants if they're not accountants. So you'd go to type it in here, and then this is who you're following and who you're sharing it with, which circles you're sharing with. So you get rid of public, that comes up automatically because you're not sharing it publicly. You want to share it directly with your accountant circle. So you come up here, accountant circle, and you choose that circle there. And that will just share that article with people in that circle. And like I said, if they're not following you back, they won't see it in their mini feeds, but they will get a little notification up here saying Business Training Made Simple has shared 5 top social media tips for accountants with you. And then they might think, oh, that's interesting, that relates to me. Maybe I'll have a look at that and maybe I'll follow them back. So it's a really great way of creating targeted content that will get the attention of your target industries. So that's really, really useful. So circles are very useful at creating content and targeting at that set industries. Okay, so that's circles. That's what circles allows you to do. Target your followers. Like I said, if it was just a general piece of content that you thought, oh, this is useful for lots of our circles, then you would just share it with the public, and that means that would come up on your public profile, and then it would also come up in all the mini feeds of people following you. Okay, so that's circles, and that's why they're useful and why they're helpful. So ripples. So first of all, we're going to look at ripples. This is the first of the 4 very easy, easy to implement strategies, which I'm going to show you to build up an engaged following. Those of you who don't know what ripples are, let me just show you briefly before we talk about them, so you know what I'm going on about. Get rid of this. So ripples are, if you go to let's go to a popular brand, or try Bentley Motors. Oh, that's in local. So that search bar, normally, if you're just in your Google Plus page, will only search for local businesses. By the way, if you want to search for brands, some people are on Google Plus as brands, you'd have to go to people. for Bentley in there because they're obviously a brand, not a local business. So let's look at Bentley Motors because they're popular, I'd say, on Google+. Okay, so you can see here lots of +1s and shares. So if you click on this little arrow in the right-hand corner of the piece of content that they've shared, click there and go down to View Ripples. And here you can see all the people who have shared that piece of content. Oh look, Richard, I thought that was Richard Branson then. All the people who've shared that piece of content. So that's what a ripple is. Okay, it just allows you can view ripples on pieces of content like that. Click on the little corner, View Ripples, and it shows you how the content has been shared and distributed. Ooh, look at that one, got lots of shares there, which is perfect. So we'll go back now. So with ripples, as I said, it allows you to search and to see what content and where and who has shared it. So a really, really useful thing to do is search for popular relevant content to your industry. So for instance, if you were selling cars, you might, like I just did then, search for Bentley. You know, they're a popular brand, they're going to have lots of people engaging with them, lots of people +1ing them and sharing their content. And you're going to view their ripples and see who's been sharing that content. And then you want to circle these people and add them to a high engager circle. Because this is great, you're seeing all these people, all these active members on Google+, who are +1ing and sharing content that's relevant to your industry. They're sharing content about cars. So therefore, if you think, oh, I'm also producing similar content to Bentley about cars, these people might be interested in my content too. And if they're on Google+, and if they're engaging with Bentley, then hopefully they'll be engaging with me too. So you're going to circle these people, add them, and put them in a high engagers circle, and then aim to get them to circle you back. And then you'll hope then they'll be +1ing, sharing your content because they're sharing Bentley's content when they're who's creating similar content to you. So I'll just walk you through this on the platform. So for instance, that one we just opened then, wow, see, this is great. So look, you've got all, right here in front of you, all these active members on Google+, who you know are interested in cars. So if you're selling cars, or you're a car blog, or whatever, there's all these people right here. So you just go through, following them, and adding them to a high engaged circle. So you'd want to create a new circle, and you might even want to say Bentley high engaged come from. You know that they were interested in Bentley content. So you create that circle, and then you'd go through adding all these people it's letting me, I don't know why it's not. That's really, really strange. Let's just see, 2 minutes. There we go. Don't know why they weren't loading. Going through, following all these people and adding them to your circle of high engagers. It's a bit pernickety because you've got to hover over and then click on them, hover over and put them in. So you literally just go through, clicking on these people, following them, adding them to your Bentley high engagers circle, because you know that these people are then likely going to be engaging with your content. And if you follow them, Google Plus is pretty good. They'll probably follow you back if they're active on Google Plus. It's the atmosphere and the etiquette on Google Plus is very much if you're +1ing, engaging with and sharing someone's content, I'd say it's pretty 80 to 90% chance that they're going to be commenting and sharing and engaging with you back. So there you go, you literally go around, adding them all to your circle, and then once you've added them to your circle, go back here, refresh this. You'd be then aiming to get them to follow you back and to put you in their circles, so then they'll be engaging with your content. Because remember, the more people who engage with your content, the more Google are going to think, oh, this content's really useful, this content's good, we're going to show this higher up in Google search results. Okay, so you go back to your stream. You then look at your circles here. You can see you can see all people in all your circles in this stream, or you can actually go through and pick a specific circle. So we go to Bentley High Engagers because we know we've just followed all these people. So they'll get a little notification up here saying Business Training Made Simple has just followed you. So then what we want to be doing is we want to be going through and going, oh, that's a good piece of content. I'm going to +1 that. Maybe I'm going to leave a comment saying that's interesting, or any conversation you can get involved in, the more chance they're going to add you back. So you go through +1ing, engaging, and sharing with their content to try and make them add you back. So that's a really, really useful way of getting people who are interested in your industry, adding you back, getting them in your circles, and these people are already engaging, they're already active on Google+, so it's really, really likely that they're going to be +1ing and engaging with your content, which is exactly what you want. Okay, so that's ripples. Next, we're going to look at connect with bloggers. Google+ is bloggers' best friend. Every blogger you'll ever meet will probably be on Google+, most definitely be on Google+, because they can have things like Google authorship, and just like you, just why you're on Google+ is to get your content and make your content more visible. They want their blog posts to be made more visible. So they're on Google+ for SEO reasons, because they want their blog posts shown up in Google search. So remember what I said, we're not necessarily looking for our normal target audience on Google+, not like Facebook and Twitter, it's a little bit different. We're on here for SEO reasons as a whole, not everyone, but a lot of people are. So really all we're interested in is people engaging with our content so it becomes more visible in Google search. So we know that bloggers are active on Google+, and we know that they engage with content, so we want to be searching for bloggers, putting them in our circles and getting them to engage with our content. So it's literally as easy as going to Google, searching for bloggers, looking at people and places, and going through and adding these bloggers and putting them in a blogger circle so you know they're bloggers. I mean, if you can get bloggers in your industry, that's even better. So you might want to say car bloggers, or fashion bloggers, then that's even better. But even if you can't find any bloggers who are necessarily in your industry, if you've got a bit of a niche, go through and add them anyway and try and build up a bit of relationship with them. A lot of bloggers blog about lots of different things, so you want to go through and engaging, commenting on their articles to get them to follow you back, so then they're +1ing and engaging with you. Like I said earlier, it's very much, if you're +1ing and you're commenting on people's content, it's very much they'll do that back to you. It really is. It's a different vibe to Facebook and Twitter. It's very much give and take, because I think a lot of people appreciate why everyone's on there. So if you're helping someone out by +1ing them, then they'll help you out by +1ing you back, which is great. Okay, so that one's really easy, really simple, definitely worth doing. Connect with bloggers, build up a relationship with bloggers, get them engaging with your content. Okay, so now number 3, communities. Communities are a perfect place to discover and to find active Google+ members. I mean, most people in communities, let's be honest, are going to be active Google+. If they've gone to the trouble of finding communities to join, then they're going to be active on Google+. So what you want to do is look at communities recommended to you by Google. If you haven't joined any communities before, or you're a bit lost thinking, oh, I don't know what communities to join, Google do actually recommend communities for you based on what you post and your about page, things like that. Join these communities and directly connect with people in there, because you've got all these people in one place who are active, so you want to go through and connect with them all and add them to so whatever community is, or even just a high engager circle, and always put the industry as well, so you know where you've got them from or where you found them or what they're interested in. So we'll take a little look at communities. So if you go down here, click on your communities tab, you can see here communities you've joined. So these are the ones that we've already joined as Business Training Made Simple, and that's where communities recommended for you. I said that Google will actually recommend communities that are relevant to you. You can see here Google Analytics, digital marketing. If you go through and join some communities which you think are relevant, I'm going to join the Google Analytics community. Really easy, join the community, then view it. Okay, and this is what a community looks like. So most communities will have an about section here. A lot will actually have guidelines as well, telling you what you can and can't do. And if you don't stick to those guidelines, you will get kicked out of a lot of communities. The biggest problem they have is people just spamming them. So people joining communities and thinking, oh, this is great, I'm just going to spam people with all my blog posts, and they just put link after link after link, and they're not actually giving anything back or engaging with anyone else. That is not what communities are about. You have to be engaging, you have to be giving as well, commenting on people's blog posts, not just spamming them with your content and not giving anything. So as you can see here, they have different categories for what you post. So just be aware, if you've never posted in a community before, you can choose whatever your post is most relevant, and choose what category to share it under. So discussions, or if it's a question, you'd post it under questions. So things like that. So you'd literally, so I'll go back to my communities. And so once you've joined your community, you go through. This is just a UK Connect community. So here, this is the perfect place if you're a local business to find all active members in the UK on Google+. You'll find loads of them in communities like this. So for instance, you can see about this community, and they've got their guidelines here. Please feel free to share your blog posts, but do not simply link drop or spam the community. So, post relevant content into the community category, but don't worry if it doesn't really fit. So you can see all the categories down here. So don't just be going on there and posting your blog posts and spamming. You want to be, that people do post their blog posts, but you want to be commenting and +1ing and sharing if you find it interesting other people's before you go and do yours. So what you do, you go through and you add these people. Introduce yourself when you enter the community. You can say hello and introduce yourself, and they're normally very welcoming. They'll say hello and everyone will comment back and say hello. So then what you want to do is go through adding these people. That you can see everyone who's +1 this year, go through adding them into your circle. So I'd put these people, this is a UK community, so I'd want to add them into my UK circle. So you go through, just adding them into a UK circle. And if they see you commenting, if people see you commenting and engaging with a community as well, you're most likely going to get people adding you back, adding you straight away before you even add them into their circles, and then they'll be commenting on your content if you create a good relationship with them. Okay, so that's great. You just go through adding them to your circle, and then as we did before, we want to then be those who add you back, great, and there'll be some who don't add you back, so you then want to go to that specific circle, and then go through +1ing, commenting, sharing their content to encourage them to then circle you and do that back to you, which literally, as I said before, they really will do that. If you go around sharing a +1 in their content, then people really are likely to do it back to you. Okay, so that's communities, and they have a really, really simple, easy strategy to find active people on Google+ to engage with your content. As I said before, be aware of community etiquette if you've never joined communities before. Most communities have guidelines, which I showed you. Be sure to stick to these, or you will be thrown out or blocked, and that will not be good for you or your brand. Okay, final strategy, shared circles. So I don't know, you may or may not be aware that you can actually share your circles with the public, and you can then add other circles that other people have shared. So this is great for adding really, really quickly, building up your followers and adding lots of people in one go. So let's have a little look. So it's really simple. All you have to do is type in here, shared circles, in your search bar. And this will bring up all the circles that people have shared. Then you want to go through here and look for any circles which you think might be relevant or useful to you. For instance, top engagers, great. I mean, you want high engagers on Google+. Here's a whole circle that someone's made for you of top engagers on Google+. So all you do is add people and you can add these to your circles. So then you'd call it high engagers circle. And then you'd create a high engager circle and add it. Now Google Plus doesn't let you, only lets you add a certain amount of people at one time. I'll just do this now to see if this happens. So what it will do is it might come up with an error because there's 500 people in the circles and they only give you a daily limit. Yeah, you can see here. You've reached the daily limit for adding to your circles, and then it'll just disappear and it'll look like they haven't been added, but they have. It'll have added as many people as possible, and you know that because you'll suddenly start to see people adding you back. So you know they've been added, but the limit has been reached. So then you just cancel it, but they have been added as many as possible. And then you'll have to wait until tomorrow because Google don't just want you going around spamming and just adding thousands and thousands of people every day. But that's really great. So you can go through and you can see some circles are really, really specific. So they might be web developers or like photographer circles. So these are even better. They've got really specific circles ready-made for you. So you can find some really, really useful circles here, and it can be really, really helpful. And it might be good to get into one of these circles as well. So sometimes they'll say, tell us what industry you're in. So if you read all there, read it, tell you what to do. Plus the post, share the post, add the circle and request in comments if you think you should be added into the circle. So if you think you found a circle, digital marketer circle, and you're a digital marketer and or your company's digital marketing, and on your wall it's pretty obvious you're a digital marketing company, then you can actually be requested to be added into these circles, which is great because then people are sharing these and it'll just be ticking along, people will be adding you. So that's really, really useful. So that's a quick way. So lots of these people will add you back. So when you add this circle, lots of people will add you back. You'll get lots of notifications in. Obviously, not everyone will. Some people won't. So again, as I said, you go back to history, remember what circle you called them, and go through. You know these people are active on Google+. They're in these circles. Go through, be active with their content, and then guarantee you'll see an increase of activity on your content, which is exactly what we want. Why do you want that? Because the more +1s, the more shares, the more comments we have on our blog posts, the more Google will think, oh look, these blog posts are really, really popular. People are really engaging with them and loving them. Do you know what? We're gonna boost them up a bit and we're gonna display them higher. Okay, so that's it. As I said, really, really, really four really, really simple, easy to implement strategies. There's nothing hard about any of those, and they're so effective, and you really will see your engagement rates boost up after doing those, I guarantee it. So things to remember from today: make use of ripples, connect with bloggers. Sorry, just go back, make use of ripples. Do you remember what I said? Go through and find people who are sharing that content that's relevant to your industry. Connect with bloggers because they're always active on Google+. Join and engage with communities. Go to join communities, be active in them, actually take part and contribute to them, and I guarantee you'll see a return on investment there for your time, and search for relevant shared circles. So one thing I think as well that you really need to remember is that you have to be active back on other people's content. You can't just expect people to be engaging and sharing your content with you not doing anything. So it does take a little bit of work on your part, but it is definitely worth it, and you see the rewards coming in really quickly. So it's not like you're slogging away and not seeing anything come back. You do see it come in very, very quickly. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for listening in. Just a little note about our upcoming courses. We do have a Google Plus half-day course, which I'm running, and that's the next one. That is the 26th of September, and that'll be looking at getting your business set up correctly on Google Plus, and making sure your profile's optimized for search engines, looking at Google Hangouts and how you can be using and optimizing those, and a Google Plus strategy for your business, because a lot of people are like, oh, I should be on Google Plus, but I'm not sure why. Is it for SEO? Should I be engaging? Should I be looking for our audience, our target customers on there? It's a bit of confusion. So half-day course next on the 26th of September. Our next upcoming courses, we've got Social Media for Business on the 15th of July. That's just a very basic social media course. If you are not yet on social media as a business, come on that one. It'll help you decide what platforms are right for you. We've got our Search Marketing Bundle, which is a 3-day intensive course covering Google Analytics, Google AdWords, and SEO. 3-day course. If you want to know everything you need to know in 3 days, come on that. That's the 22nd to the 24th of July. Then we've got Facebook for Business on the 29th. Please do tweet us at GetTrainedUK, you can see in the corner here, or hashtag GetTrainedUK. If you're listening in, please tweet us on your thoughts. And our next Google Hangout will be how to effectively set up your Hootsuite dashboard in 5 easy steps. So really that's optimizing your Hootsuite dashboard and making it work for you as much as possible. So cutting down and saving you time that you're spending on social media. Really, everyone should be using a dashboard like Hootsuite. It saves you so much time. And please do tweet us as well with any suggestions that you might have that you want us to talk about in the future about Google Hangouts. So anything you're unsure of and you think, oh, that's a topic which I think other people will be interested in too, and you think we can fit it in half an hour or an hour, please do tweet us, and we'd love to run any topics that you suggest. Okay, and as I said, we're on Twitter, GetTrainedUK. Please like our Facebook page. We've got competitions, lots of business tips. Someone's actually just won our latest competition, actually. Jerk and Juice, the company, have just won a digital content course with us. That competition's just finished. Follow us on Pinterest. All our blogs and infographics are on there. And subscribe us on YouTube. Follow us on Google Plus for all our Hangouts. So we've done loads and loads of Hangouts on loads of different topics. Go on our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see all of them there. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Everybody who had registered to this Hangout, I will send you a copy of the recording. Everyone who's registered. If you haven't registered and you joined us halfway through, just leave us a comment on the Hangout, and I will connect with you and message you, find out your email. I'll send you a copy of the recording, but it'll also be uploaded then onto our YouTube channel at some point. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Have a great weekend. Bye.